evening and welcome to the Vegan Hour. This is episode 19 and I am joined tonight, well actually it's Tuesday, May the 23rd. I'm joined tonight by Shai and Jai from Veganyumm. Thank you for coming down and joining me.
Yeah,
we're going to be talking about all things yummy, lots of decadence and that. So let's give you guys in Facebook land an opportunity to come on, and I can see the numbers just starting to creep up at the top of the screen there. So while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about the events that are coming up. Oh, we've already got the thumbs up. That's off to a good start. Thank you. I'm going to talk about the events that are coming up. Lube is watching. Thank you for watching. And it looks like Christy's watching as well. Excellent. Okay. So let's just refresh this browser so I can see what's going on. Excellent. Everything's happening, and we've already got a like from Michael. Thank you. Now, what is happening this week? I've got a couple of events that I want to mention. While I think of it, the Vegan Hour is sponsored. In the background, you can see just behind Shai here, you can see Vegan Frothers and Burleytown Storage. So a big shout out to these guys for giving us these premises to film the Vegan Hour from. Much appreciated. And so, yeah, if you want to check out some cruelty-free clothing, go to Vegan Frothers and, yeah, there you'll have it. I can see people coming on left, right and centre now, so good on you guys. Right, now, just a couple of events I want to talk about before we get into the show tonight. So, this Thursday, this is a big one, this Thursday, so in 2 nights' time, is the premiere of What the Health. This is at the Queensland Multicultural Centre. Now, What the Health is the follow-up to Cowspiracy. So, have you guys seen it? Have you seen What the Health yet? Because you can actually like download it or something. And I haven't even seen it.
We haven't seen it.
Haven't seen it? No.
I haven't seen it.
Well, Thursday night, if you're not working,
yeah,
you can be at 6:15 p.m. at the Queensland Multicultural Centre. So, they're going to have some vegan stalls or something there as well. So,
nice.
So yeah, so that's this Thursday night if you're in Brisbane. It's also been premiering or will premiere at other places in Australia. So, and also this Saturday, My Vegan Life group has a Vegan Luck in the Park at Schuster's Park starting at noon. So you're welcome to attend. The requirement is simply bring along some vegan food to share, and we usually get at least a couple of dozen people come along with these. In fact, we've had up to 65 people as our record at one of these events. So, and you know, the park's beautiful. It's got lots of water around it. It's got swings for the kids. It's got facilities to enjoy. So that's the story. So come along, meet other vegans. You're in good company. Share the food, have fun, kick a ball around, throw a frisbee, and you know. Yeah, so I can see lots of people have been coming online there, so that's really good. And so thank you everyone for joining us. And okay, so in case you missed the earlier introduction, I have Shai and Jai from Veganyumm. Have you heard of Veganyumm? If you haven't heard of Veganyumm, tonight you're going to hear all about Veganyumm. Instead of this, it's this tonight. Okay, so what I want to do is let's find out a little bit about Veganyumm. You're based in Brisbane, right?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
Brisbane.
Brisbane
Been
based?
around for 10 months now.
10 months, just a baby.
Yeah.
Just a baby, yeah. So now, my understanding is Veganyumm is actually, I can see the numbers shooting up rapidly at the top there, so we've got lots of people watching, that's nice. Now, Veganyumm was born, should we say, from Cineyumm, is that correct? Is that like?
That is correct.
That is correct. So what was Cineyumm? Let's go, I want to find out the history of Veganyumm. So tell us a bit about Cineyumm, Shai.
So Cineyumm was a little bit of, I guess, a impulsive decision to leave my career behind and go into something vegan related, and just trying to tie up my passion for baking with something vegan. And then that's how Cineyumm, the idea of Cineyumm came about. And yeah, I was a doctor for 3 years. And
you were a doctor for 3 years?
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah.
I never knew.
Yeah.
I should have got you on the show to find out.
Yeah.
And when you were a doctor, were you vegan at that stage?
At the second year of being an intern,
Yes.
I became
You
vegan.
became vegan. Okay, interesting. Because we
Yeah.
need more vegan
Well,
doctors.
I'll tell you more about that. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that later. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you decided to just do a complete career change.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very
just,
impulsive.
It wasn't quite overnight, but
it's pretty quick.
it was okay. I guess it was quick.
Yeah.
As far as things have moved over the last few years, yeah, I guess it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Guess in a space
it's
of
no
3
light
months.
decision, that's for sure.
No, it wouldn't be, because I mean, you're talking about going from what is a fairly secure future to the unknown,
Absolutely.
really. So, yeah. So, okay. So, Cinnayum was the actual cinnamon.
The cinnamon rolls. Yeah.
The cinnamon rolls. That was Cinnayum.
That was Cinnayum. We started off at Boundary Street Markets. We had
Boundary Street Market.
the old one.
Yeah.
It was extremely busy, and when we started it, we had no idea. We had no hospitality experience.
Oh, okay.
And he's an engineer, me being a doctor, completely like out of the spectrum of
It certainly is, isn't it?
But
An engineer and a doctor walked into a bar.
Yeah.
What did they get? Veganyumm.
Yeah.
Jeff Leach says, "Hi guys, love your amazing food." So
that's cool.
we've had straight off a comment from. Thank you there, Jeff. So an engineer and a doctor decided to set up a vegan dessert decadence business.
Yeah.
That's what I'm calling it tonight, dessert decadence.
We use those terms as well at the markets.
Do you? Really?
Yeah, just like on
Yeah.
our sign.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. I must have vibed into
We're
it
in
or
tune.
something. We're in tune. We're in tune. It's definitely. So so how did it grow from Cinnayum? Because Cinnayum, you were at the markets, and obviously obviously you would have got a lot of good feedback from there, and you thought, okay, we're onto something here.
Yeah, well, so we had no expectation when we started off Cinnayum, just to be really honest.
Yeah.
It took a little while to perfect that recipe, and when it got right, I had no idea what I was doing it for.
Yeah.
I was just constantly baking at home, sending cinnamon rolls to his work, eating them myself, giving them to friends, like no real intention to start up something. And then when it was so amazing, I said, we've got to do something about this. So I thought, let's just, once a week, let's go to a market stall. But that got out of hand. It got so busy.
Yeah.
And
Got really popular.
Yeah. Wow.
We started getting a bit of a following, which is really cool.
That's awesome. This is all just last year, isn't it? Is that right?
That was a bit more. That was about almost 2 years ago.
Okay, it's almost 2 years ago. So you were doing the markets for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Markets
Okay.
for about a month.
Like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. And you
Markets
started
for about
developing
3
this
months.
following, or this.
Yeah.
People were basically crawling on hands and knees to get to get the food. They're like, I'm gonna have it.
We definitely had lines.
That's awesome.
That was amazing to
Yeah.
see. Like,
Shout out to our followers from the
originals.
start, our original followers.
Yes. You guys actually helped push these guys into Veganyumm, didn't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So to all the people that supported Cinnayum, that is fantastic. And then you decided, let's go a bit more permanent, let's expand a bit, I guess.
Yeah, so it only lasted 3 months in the markets because we couldn't actually keep up. So I called it quits, and we're getting sad messages from fans all the time. Where have you guys gone? Where have you guys gone? And we didn't know what to say to them actually. But we were kind of just looking for a more permanent base because, market stalls is a lot of hard work and a lot of background work as well. And having a bit more permanent structure is a bit better.
Yes.
But how that was going to happen, we had no idea.
Yeah.
And so,
Okay.
so we closed the stall and we started looking online for shops and things like that. And then I was a bit scared to take the risk. And
because I mean, you've got a financial involvement there, haven't you?
Exactly.
And no guarantee of where it's going to go.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's right.
So,
that's another big decision made in a short
space of time. Yes. Yeah. You took a leap of faith.
Yeah.
But at least you had the feedback that what you were doing, that your food was really well received. Yeah. So when you were at the markets, you were doing a variety of different things, weren't you? You weren't doing just the cinnamon.
No,
rolls?
it was just the cinnamon rolls, but a variety of toppings.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
And
we change them up every other week.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Okay. Cool. So that was your niche when you were at the markets, was the cinnamon rolls. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So, let's fast forward a bit. So we get to Veganyumm, and so you find a place, you set up, and then you decide, okay, we're not just going to do cinnamon rolls.
Well, she is a cook in all sense, like not just desserts, not just desserts. Like she can do anything, but So she'd been experimenting with other things as well. She'd been making cakes and sending them to my work and stuff like that. And so she started an experimentation phase, just like getting all the products that she's gonna put out in Veganyumm.
Yeah.
And so there was definitely a phase of that.
Mm.
And and then what next?
So basically, you worked away in the kitchen, figuring out what was going to be appealing, and then
I worked away on the computer doing like floor plans and you know, the technical side of things like plumbing and that sort of stuff.
And not to leave out an important aspect, we got an investment from Charlie's Fruit Market.
Oh, really?
So they found us basically. So
fantastic.
In that period between leaving Cineum and kind of not knowing what we were going to do, they approached us, and initially it was as casual as, would you like to do Cineums for us on a private basis? And I actually said, sorry guys, it's too much hard work. Like,
just remembering that was actually, I just remember something, the power of social media. Charlie's.
Sorry, Jason says we are here at Veganyumm. Where are you? Well, we tagged it as being at Veganyumm, but that was in the photo. That's cool. Sorry.
No, I was saying, it was actually the power of social media that kind of connected us in the first place, because I think Charlie's put out an advertisement to the vegan community saying what vegan products would you like us to stock? Desserts.
Right.
And there was an overwhelming Cineum.
So
then they contacted Shai.
I didn't even know them. I got a call, and then I asked.
How fulfilling is that?
Yeah.
To hear that your creation, everybody's going, that's what we want. Hey, that's pretty satisfying.
I didn't even stop to take it all in, because it felt like it was like one thing.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as we started the markets, we were like, what next? And then there was a call from Charlie's. And then,
oh wow! You guys really do have a nice connection with the universe, there, don't you?
It came at a really opportune time as well, because those markets were closing down, at least temporarily.
Yes, that's right.
That transition, and we didn't know what we were going to do. Like, you know, we kind of couldn't keep up, but at the same time, if we wanted to take this any further, we needed an investor. That's what we literally put out to the universe. And next minute, the Charlie's guys contacted us, and
that is awesome.
Yeah, and they said, would you like to make Cineums for Charlie's? And we were sending them 150 Cineums a day at a point, and I said, I can't do this. I had 2 employees still, and I said, I can't keep up. And then they said, would you like us to like make a little section where you can do it in our, you know, somewhere.
Wow, and, a lot of opportunity.
And then that evolved into, would you like an investment to actually open up something? And that's where...
That is fantastic.
Gone any further.
Isn't that is the most, when that happens, it is just the most mind-blowing experience when things fall in place like that.
Absolutely.
And then you know beyond doubt that you're doing what you should be doing.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
There were a lot of signs like that kind of assured us in that process. You know, like we said, there's 2 big decisions, but then signs and success was coming.
So you felt working. So it would be fair to say you felt confident that things were going to sort of work out.
Yeah, we didn't look back actually from there. So
that's and Jason says we have a meetup here with Bris vegan foodies. What, at Veganyumm? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, did you know about that?
No, I didn't know that. You guys should let us know so we can hook you up.
It's only your business. Why would you know?
Speak to whoever's on that.
So well, Jason? You'll have to tell us what's going on up there, because I didn't know about that either. And Kara's watching. Thank you, Kara, for watching. So okay, I'm curious about the name, or even let's go back to the Cineum name. I guess that's a variation of cinnamon, isn't it? Yeah. Is that? Go on. Sorry, go on. How did Veganyumm come about?
Well, Cineum came first, right?
Yeah, Cineum came about just from the cinnamon chain in America. Cinnabon.
Okay.
Which I could never eat my whole life because it had egg in it. So
right. Okay.
A little bit disappointed when I used to walk past and it smelled amazing. So a vegan one had to be born, and that was Cinnabon.
That's good.
And then deciding on this name, we had tossed up a few ideas, and I said let's keep the yum in there, but we didn't know what else to put. And I said let's make sure the word vegan's in it. So we went vegan yum. And obviously the question kind of came up: is that too in people's face, like vegan yum? Is it too in people's face?
Right. Yeah.
But I didn't want the message to be lost.
Good.
Because
it
kind of stands proud. Yeah.
Yeah, stand proud with it.
Yeah.
Excellent. I know there's two different philosophies used in vegan businesses. Some people don't mention vegan at all.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll mention plant-based, or they won't even mention that sometimes. My favourite vegan restaurant here on the coast does not mention veganism or vegan food at all.
Yeah.
And that's their strategy.
Yeah.
And they're incredibly popular. And that's a greenhouse canteen. Have you ever been to a greenhouse canteen?
Yeah.
I mean, they're packed all the time. So obviously their strategy works for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, but also I like the idea of actually saying, no, we're vegan. We want people to know about it.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, please. You're the guest.
We kind of thought it's about time. Like, veganism is big enough now. I mean, it just needs that push over the edge to be mainstream kind of thing. Like, the time is now.
That's true. That's exactly right. Yeah. Why should we be hiding it?
And sometimes you also got to be a little bit cocky. Like,
that's good.
You have to.
Yes, that's good.
You just have to say, I don't care. Like,
Brilliant.
Vegan yum.
Brilliant.
Vegan,
I love it.
Yeah.
Love you, sir. You guys would make a great couple. Oh, that's right. You are.
We just so happen to be.
Yeah, you just it's funny how that works, isn't it? Now there were rumours. That there was an amazing chocolate cake recipe that everybody wants to know about. There were rumours that maybe one day, maybe you're going to let people know what it is. But maybe it'll be tonight. But I doubt it. You'll have to just keep watching and see, if any secrets get shared tonight.
I have something for you guys if you keep watching.
Yes, we will have something to share with you at the end of the show. That's how you keep people watching.
Absolutely. But that Ferrero cake, too popular to share.
Too popular to share, yeah. I thought we were going to banter with that one a bit longer, but too popular to share. But so that is let's talk about that cake. Let's talk about your creations.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your most popular one, the chocolate cake?
That particular flavor, the Ferrero cake, is extremely popular amongst of the cakes. But the brownies are our most popular product.
Brownies?
Definitely.
Okay. Not the Cinnayums. Do you still do that?
Yes, we do. We sell a lot of Cinnayums. But the brownies, we sell hundreds, if not thousands, a week. It's crazy.
Oh, that's pretty impressive. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Wow,
our production has tripled in no space of time.
Wow, in 10 months?
In 10 months.
Wow, that is fantastic.
To be honest, we did not expect that as well.
Yeah,
we had to change our plan. Really, like it puts you into a different sort of bracket of business almost.
Yes.
Like you think you might only need one baker or something like that.
Yeah.
Or you could get away with Shai doing the baking. Or something.
Yeah. And suddenly it's like no.
Yeah. Which is great.
It's a great problem to have, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And, especially because a lot of the people that come to veganism aren't vegans as well. And
okay, this I'm curious to hear as well. Have you actually you asked people, or have you done surveys or anything like that on them? Do you have like percentages?
We do a lot of. We talk to our customers a lot, and they just talk to us. That's kind of.
Well, you guys are really easy to talk to, so I can understand that.
And some people walk in and they don't know the difference between veganism and being gluten-free.
Yeah.
Oh,
that frustrates a lot of vegans.
How often does that happen when you go to a place like a restaurant and the people working there don't know the difference? That's So so you're doing a bit of education too with these customers.
Yeah, all our staff always ask people, have you been here before? We're 100% vegan bakery, and then that's when their reactions come up. So all of this is vegan, and then they get really amazed, and then they love to ask, so what's in that? So there's no egg. So let me just clarify, there's no butter. Like, what is in that? So, and then they eat it, and then we get really good feedback.
One of the things that I
Amazing.
hear a lot is you can't even tell that it's vegan.
Vegan. You
Yeah,
can't, yes.
that there's no dairy or
Yes.
anything like that. And I've taken stuff into work, and people that would have only heard about veganism like a few months ago, sort of thing. They don't know much about it. Like, who are traditionally like the steak and that that's the thing. They'll tell me like, this is amazing. I can't even tell that it's vegan.
That's
Like,
fantastic.
like dessert.
Which brings it to the next point, which is like, well, if you could eat like this cruelty free, why wouldn't you? Sort of thing. If you could do this without harming animals. And I guess you do a little bit of that sort of education with customers too, maybe sort of steer them in that direction.
We do actually. That's what Veganyumm is kind of going for. We wanted to create something that wasn't too in people's faces. So we give them what they want, then they try it and they like it, and then we go, hey, it's vegan. So it's not like when you walk in there, we don't have anything that's the name Veganyumm stands for itself, but there's nothing that kind of, I guess, pushes anyone away or marginalizes people.
Right.
Because some people do feel judged for the fact that they're not vegan. But they come in and they eat the brownie, and a lot of the times they, in a very humble way, say, I am not vegan and I respect what you're doing, but this is better than non-vegan things. This is really cool.
That's fantastic feedback. It's interesting that they come into a place called Veganyumm. And they're not vegan. I mean, obviously they have to be aware that they see the sign. They have to be aware that they know the place they're going into. But when they see your creations and they become, wow, this looks amazing. You've won them over before they've even eaten it properly. So this is a really great way to introduce people into veganism through food, through taste,
and it's through probably one of the more complex side of food as well, which is like baking and desserts and things like that. Because there's so many things that vegans would love to have, and we're filling that spot, which is desserts, got you covered. And we're getting more and more things, other businesses as well coming along, filling other spots that we need as vegan, for example, like just proper dinners, for example, just to have a proper dinner, go out and have a proper dinner. Like that was pretty hard to do. Not too long ago.
The expansion has been rapid. Brisbane is now catching up with the coast, food-wise. Thanks a lot to Charlie's, with so many places opening. But the Gold Coast is just phenomenal. And you guys have also, you've been down to Byron, you see Byron is starting to expand and explode, isn't it? They've got an elixir bar there, they've got the beat. What else have they got?
And quite a few vegan options in little places.
Yes,
as well,
yes. So I'm just going to, for people who mightn't know or have not visited your Facebook page, I'm just going to see if I can put the link here, see if this works. Hopefully this works. We'll find out in a second. Yeah, the link has gone blue, which means it should work. So what I've done there, guys, is I've shared the Veganyumm Facebook page, so you can check out their amazing goodies. I've checked them out. What I was saying to Shai and Jai before the show was that a lot of the times when I've been up in Brisbane, I'll be at a friend's place or be at some events or picnic or something like that, and invariably somebody will show up and go, oh, we just got these from Veganyumm, and they'll be carrying a box of gold. I'm like, oh, thank you, So even though I personally haven't been to your shop, I sort of have been there because it's come to me, so it's been fantastic. So
I've seen a couple of, once I saw a Veganyumm box in South Bank, which was a friend of mine took a photo and I was like, hey, look. And then another time it was on a ferry to Fraser Island. I was like, somewhere, I don't even know. Like, and somebody took a photo of another person and was like, hey, look. Like, so it's just, it travels, Veganyumm travels a little bit.
So I wanted to ask a couple of practical questions about your location and your opening hours and that, because we haven't actually spoke about that. So, because it seems like when I read some of your posts that you guys are open all the time.
Yeah.
I see posts saying, well, we're open till 10 o'clock tonight or something like that. I'm like, do you guys ever sleep?
I'm starting to get a little bit more sleep now.
About that, about sleep and just business itself. vegan businesses work really hard.
Yeah.
We've worked extremely hard. The first 6 months of setting up Veganyumm, and
Hardest we've ever worked in our lives.
harder than working as a doctor
or an
in those
engineer.
crazy hour shifts that we've done.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like there's a lot of behind the scenes baking. For starters.
Absolutely, but there's so much more than that. You know, there's training up staff, and you know, there's customer satisfaction, there's complying with rules, there's cleanliness to pay attention to, there's ordering, there's a lot. Yes. Any vegan business will tell you there's a lot. And also,
you have to do it right if you want to have a chance of expanding and growing.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise, if you cheap out on your training, or you cheap out on staff or
your product. Yeah.
Or cleanliness or whatever it may be. Any shortcuts that you take, it's gonna hamper you from expanding. We're trying to do it all right.
That is excellent. I love that. So is that part of the Veganyumm philosophy? Do it right the first time instead of sort of.
We're a little bit patient.
We can add that.
We can add that.
No, that's I think that's how we like to do things. That's probably more about
your own personal, your own personal way of living.
Both of us are a little bit patient, I guess. So.
I like the irony of that. You were a doctor, patient.
Yeah, patient. Yeah. No, patient. But we're open till 10 o'clock every night. We have a lot of stuff.
7 days a week.
7 days a week. Yeah.
What
Sunday is now 9 o'clock. But
and what time of the morning do you open?
At 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock in the morning till 10 at night.
10 at night.
You hear these hours, guys? 8 o'clock in the morning till 10 at night. Except Sundays, you go home an hour earlier. Wow.
Yeah.
And what is your location?
In Everton Park.
Everton Park.
Yeah.
Okay. Street address?
South Pine, 473 South Pine Road.
Yeah.
473 South Pine Road, Everton Park.
Next to Charlie's.
Right next to Charlie's.
Right next to Charlie's. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you haven't been there, you should. You should go.
We're still open, so.
That's right. You can go now for another couple of hours here. Yeah. Well, that's amazing with long hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's another thing. Like, that's another part of the business that we did because we were always looking at that time, where can we go? There's like nowhere to go, and then we find that there's actually a lot of people that want to go somewhere at 9 that need.
So you get people rocking in at that time?
Yeah. Oh, so
more than like 7 to 9 sort of thing. Which is,
really? Yeah. Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So there was a market there, and you've tapped into that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
We liked it. We were pretty sure that people need a place to go to just at that time.
Yeah, because you've had dinner and you're like, I want something.
Yeah, absolutely.
and I don't want to go down to Coles or Woolies and get a so good ice cream. I want something that's a bit healthier than that.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to support a vegan business.
Yeah.
And there's like, hang on, vegan yum,
yeah.
Woohoo, yum, I'm down there.
I remember back when we were doing Cineyum, just before we were closing and stuff, we get people texting us through social media saying, "You're still open. I'm sending my boyfriend down to pick something up." And we get the same thing.
You get the same thing now?
Yeah,
wow.
Swing by, just a quick pickup and off home.
See, that wouldn't happen on the Gold Coast because everyone's asleep by 8 o'clock.
Oh.
Is that how it is on the Gold Coast?
It's good.
It's not quite that bad, but I've had friends say to me, "Wow, it's just so sleepy here."
Yeah.
You know, the people just, restaurants all close at 9 o'clock, sort of thing. You know, it's like it's so different. You know, Brisbane's a bit more international.
Open, but we're trying to head in the direction of Melbourne. Melbourne has so many options, and they're all open till 8. And why not try and offer that service? But coming with that, again, kind of bringing that business aspect, being open for that long does mean wages. So it does mean staff, and it does mean that there's cleaning up afterwards that, you know, can only be done late at night, and there's overtime, there's a lot of things that are involved, and you know, if anyone wants to open a vegan business, just ask us, because we'll actually help you guys. There's so much that we learned through doing this. The last 10 months have really.
Okay, so that's an interesting offer there, that you're willing to help with advice and that. There you go. There's because I do get contacted from time to time by people asking along those lines. You know, they're looking at setting up a business. Did I have any advice? I had somebody messaging me quite regularly recently asking right down the details of recipes, and I'm like, I'm sorry, it's not my area, you know. And I had to think, where do I direct? Now I can direct people in your direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah,
Hit us up. We have a friend
She's been studying business over this whole time as well. I mean,
Yes.
doing her own studies to make sure that, you know, we're all in the right direction and results are
that is fantastic. So does Veganyumm have a philosophy? Because I feel it must do, because I know you were talking about your own personal philosophy there of doing it right the first time. So
our managers just come up with one. We have an amazing manager at Veganyumm. Shout out to Riley, who's just kind of come up with a very formal statement.
Good on you, Riley.
Yeah. But our philosophy is kindness, it's compassion, it's patience, and just kind of incorporating the way we like to treat our staff as well. A lot of our staff are vegan. A lot of them are really passionate about this. And some of our staff also haven't worked hospitality before, but, you know, the manager is also very kind and a very patient individual who loves to give people a chance. So we're training up some new people as well.
I love it. When can I apply?
Well,
I love where you guys are coming from. This is really wonderful. This is the way that businesses should be, coming from this point, from the heart, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you know, like sometimes you just have to switch on business mode and kind of.
Oh, you have to.
You know, you've got to need that part of you behind, which I did learn the hard way, I would say. Being a very I wouldn't say a soft, but very, I would like to call myself a more compassionate individual. But sometimes you have to, you know, business is business. But we've managed to tie that up into a really nice environment now. Everything's run so professionally, and everyone has their sort of way of expressing themselves in the workplace. And
it's true. There's absolutely no reason why you can't be business-minded and compassionate together. The two can definitely be combined. You can be assertive, but you can be kind. Assertive is being kind. You know, aggressive is not being kind. But you know, assertive is still getting your point across, and it's still living by your values.
Absolutely. We had this one lady that's been working for us for like 7 or 8 months now, and when she started, she was getting 4 or 5 hours a week. And she'd keep coming back week after week and Shai, give me more hours, Shai, give me more hours, and I had nothing for her, and she'd just help out with some dishes. And I actually didn't need her, but she was begging for hours, so I found 4 hours a week for her. And then, you know, all of a sudden we needed her more because production ramped up. And I said to her, look, if you want to help, if you need hours, you've got to learn how to bake. And I said, it was really unrealistic. I'm giving you 2 weeks. Let's see how you go. In 2 weeks, she learned everything. She impressed me so much. And now she's been here for 10 months, and she's, you know, really carrying a really important role in Veganyumm. So
I feel excited.
People that's grown with the company.
I feel excited for your growth and for your philosophy and for the passion behind it. This is inspiring. Keep up the good work, guys. It's very inspiring. I can only think of just briefly mentioning that I had my own business, promotions business, for many years, that I started from the ground up as a one-man business. And when it grows, when something is successful and it's meant to be, and it rapidly expands, like I'm hearing from you guys, that is so self-satisfying. You know, it's just like, it's hard to describe unless you've experienced it. And so I can really personally relate to what's happening with you guys, and you're coming from the right direction. So just to go back again, so the philosophy was kindness and compassion.
Bit of patience as well.
That is awesome. That is really, I can't wait for you guys to open an establishment down here in the coast.
We get asked that a lot.
I bet. What about gluten-free? Do you cater for? Yes, we have catered for gluten-free. Yeah.
On most days, we've got at least half a cabinet, if not a full cabinet,
of gluten-free. Excellent.
About 6 options every day for gluten-free.
Excellent. Okay, so there you go, guys. Gluten-free options as well. So, is there any other maybe special requirements that people ask for? And you know, I mean, obviously, once you, it's a vegan creation that, you know, it's eliminating people saying, well, we can't have eggs or anything like that, you know, obviously. But gluten-free, would there be anything else that people ask for?
Yeah, we get asked for refined sugar-free a lot.
For sugar-free?
Yeah.
Yes, refined sugar-free, yes, and you can.
We do have 3 options.
You have 3 options,
but we're moving towards so that gluten-free cabinet has like 5 or 6 options every day.
Yes.
We're moving towards that having about 10 to 15 gluten-free and refined sugar-free options, because
Excellent.
every third person comes into the door. And then the thing with our customers is they come in so regularly that we're like, oh no, they're back and they're looking for something new. So it's a good product to have, but it also puts a sense of urgency on how quickly we need to bring in new products.
Yes. But then they'd have, your regular customers would have their favourites that they're coming back for, wouldn't
Absolutely.
they? They're like, oh, I love this, I've got to have it every week or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
and they love that peanut butter cookie, which is gluten-free, refined sugar-free, and everyone loves that one.
Wow.
Even non-gluten-free.
So were you about to say before that a third of the customers are asking for gluten-free?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So the market for gluten-free is that big?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I think it's because of the confusion between what gluten-free and vegan is.
Yes.
So people just come to us going, hey, you guys are the weird ones that cater for everything that is not.
Mm.
So they come to us and then they're like, I have a birthday party coming up. It needs to be X, Y, Z, and everything else. So we get like soy-free requests, we get coconut-free requests, we get nut-free.
Of course,
Yeah.
nut-free, yes, yeah. So, and so you cater as well to events or birthday parties, is that?
Just birthday cakes.
Just birthday cakes, okay, right, yeah.
Or cupcakes as well, if you want to order cupcakes in a large batch, then we do that as well.
Yeah.
So there you go, out there in Facebook land, if you need a large batch of cupcakes or a special custom-made birthday cake, these are your folks. These are your people, something like that. So you don't do deliveries, I guess?
Not at this moment.
No.
We get a lot of cakes a week. We're doing over 100 cakes at this point, so we do need to start doing deliveries. People have been asking. Yeah. But we are focusing on other areas at the moment.
That's well, it's early days, isn't it?
It is absolutely.
I'm surprised.
Like we said, patience. We do something, but we want to do it right. We really want to do it right.
I love it. I love it. You're approaching it so spot on. So, okay. So we're talking a little. You mentioned a few of the wonderful creations that you have there. You've mentioned the Ferraro chocolate cake and the peanut butter cookies.
Yes.
Yeah. And what were some of the other ones that are very popular, or people just
Banoffee tart.
Banoffee tart. Yes.
The sausage rolls.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so you do some
so
savoury as
crazy.
well. So you have sausage rolls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sausage rolls, pumpkin pie as well.
Pumpkin pie. Oh man, I didn't know you did
pumpkin tofu pie.
Pumpkin pie. I like a good pumpkin pie. I mean, I try to keep my sweets. I went off sweet.
This is a savoury one.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was just going to say I like a savoury because I went off sweets altogether for a couple of months, and I've been eating a little bit of sweet since then. But I try to keep it very minimal. So I look for savoury if I can. So pumpkin pie.
Cheesy mite scrolls as well. They're really good.
Oh wow, cheesy mite scrolls. Yeah.
But also the banoffee is refined sugar free as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're that could be
you're
something
looking for something
as well.
sugar-free, so
It tastes delicious and it's refined.
Oh, definitely got. I've got to force myself to be up there this weekend somehow. Drop in and try some of this stuff. So now we haven't talked about your vegan journey at all. We've talked about the business, and so I'm very, very curious to find out individually. Well, it is a journey, isn't it? And I like so far what I'm hearing about your approach, because obviously your business is a reflection and an extension of yourself, and obviously your ethics and that in your business are really based on some very good, solid foundation ethics personally. So, Shai, let's start with you. How did you become vegan? What was your awakening? You said earlier that it was in your second year in internship? Yes. Okay.
It wasn't so much of an awakening, actually. So that's a very interesting story. My friend was vegan, and we were really close. He was a role model in a lot of ways for me. He was practicing yoga at the time, and he was somebody that I looked forward to spend time with, because he was very in-depth into studying about certain philosophies that appeal to me.
Yes.
And just an all-round quite balanced individual. And then he went vegan, and he said to me that he wanted company to go vegan. So I thought, he's just.
Were you just immediately? You weren't a vegetarian.
I was vegetarian.
You were vegetarian.
I've always been vegetarian.
So you've been vegetarian from birth.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay.
But I was living in South Africa at the time.
Right.
There is zero awareness, at least 2 years ago, about veganism.
Yeah, okay, so 2 years ago in South Africa, veganism, not even on the radar?
I think there was like a birth of veganism somewhere last year, because now there's all these pages and they're just as active as our page, which is pretty amazing.
Okay,
and,
yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of new products heading that way. But anyway, back then, my friend just wanted some company to go vegan. So I didn't even research it. I didn't even know what it was all about. And being somebody that loved to cook and I create new products, I said, let's try this thing out and let's see like what the milk alternatives can do. Yeah. And I used to eat his food all the time. He was actually vegan and gluten-free. So I used to eat his food all the time because he loved to cook, and I was really busy working as a doctor, and he was free a lot of the time. Yeah. And so he'd make all these amazing things, and I loved it. So I said, yeah, sure, I'll just give you company. Yeah. So I just went vegan and gluten-free, and I don't have any reason to be gluten-free, just for company, but I really enjoyed it. And at the time, like to buy, rice milk and soy milk or coconut milk was really expensive. And it was only available in one shop. There was no vegan cheese alternative, so we use nutritional yeast for everything. Yes. Yeah. Very expensive and everything. Yeah. But I was one person, I was living in an apartment. I had, I could afford it, so I just ran with it. And for a whole year I was vegan. I enjoyed it, and I felt good. And I noticed that I had lost some. I wasn't overweight, but I felt like I lost some unhealthy weight. Yeah. Potentially contributed towards having a lot of dairy.
Did you, as a vegetarian, were you having a lot of dairy?
Quite a bit of dairy, I would say. Yeah.
So, did you just stop cold tofu? I don't say. So see what I did. See what I did there.
I've got a new one for you. How about cold tofu?
Oh yes. All right. Cold tofu. I love it. He batted it back nicely. Thank you. So you stopped cold tofu.
Like I said,
all right. If that's I'm going to put this part of the show in the next promo, I think.
That's awesome. Yeah. But yeah, I actually had no ethical reason to go vegan at that time.
Right. Okay.
So that was in somewhere like I think in 2012. Yeah, in 2012. And then I moved back home with my parents who were vegetarian, and I would occasionally have dairy. And until we got together and I started
to met Jai and
then we spoke about veganism because there was a big awareness here in Australia. Yes. And then I started liking all the pages, like, Brisbane Vegans, Vegans in Queensland, and I would just read the stuff. And then that's when I was like, oh, like, it was literally like, oh, and it actually took a long time for me to actually accept what was happening in the dairy industry, because I always thought, like, no, that just can't be. Because if my parents were vegetarian for ethical reasons, like, surely they would have known about this. But we just don't know. Like, yes. It
certainly hasn't been the way the cows and the bobby calves are treated hasn't been in the interest of the dairy industry to make that information widely available. Why would any industry say, hey, we kill 700,000 male calves a year by sending them for veal? That's we're supporting the veal industry, but we don't want to tell you that. We just want you to think you're just drinking milk that happy cows are giving freely. Not forcibly impregnating them and all the rest. It's not, of course, it's not that. So once you realise the ethical side of it, then it was like, whoa.
And that's when we actually and then I told him about it. Yes. Because he's not on social media a lot. He doesn't really use Facebook a lot.
Smart man.
With him, he's just a vegan, just like that. And he's
were you weren't previously vegetarian?
I was vegetarian my whole life.
You were as well?
Yeah, excellent. Much the same situation with like her parents. That same question that she asked, like to her parents, where it's like, if you're vegetarian for the benefit of animals, but then what about this?
We always have this conversation now.
What about the milk side of it?
Okay, so how does this conversation go when you have it with your parents?
Very interesting, yeah. My dad,
he's old school.
He's old school. I guess he's set in ways, but he's aware of it, and if I bring it up, he look down and say it's sad, but he tells me that he tries to minimise.
Okay, so when you say you'll look down and you say it's sad, so he's acknowledging it.
Yeah.
So he's aware of it. He's acknowledging it. Okay. Well, that's something.
He's definitely acknowledging it. And he'll start telling me about the facts and stuff, and that sort of thing. I'm like, well, why don't you do it? It's like, look, I barely have it.
I remember him last time we met. He said, "I don't eat cheese anymore." So yeah, that was really funny. Yeah.
Heading in the right direction. I hope maybe there will come a point where, I mean, it is entrenched values, and that can be very hard to change.
I
so
told
I
my
understand when he
parents,
says old school. How did you go with your parents?
I told them, and I don't think they're really registered. It's not.
Right.
It's more like, again, set in ways. They're not adverse to the idea at all. I guess that if I pushed it, they would probably take it a bit more.
Okay.
But with my sister,
I think this is what I like. This applied to me, like sort of my vegan journey, but I think there is something for everyone that will set them, that'll turn them over, sort of thing.
Yes.
And it's just what that is for me.
Yeah.
It was two things. One was I had also asked the question, like, because what happens to the billy cards? I'd heard from other people what happens, and then I was trying to look for it myself, and like, this can't be right, but I couldn't quite find the information at the time. Yeah. And then eventually I found the information. I was like, okay, so this is real.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah.
And then the other thing was cowspiracy.
That
really struck with me because I'm kind of like a numbers kind of guy.
Yes.
And they had all the facts and figures that were unquestionable.
Yes.
You have to accept that.
Yeah.
And it's all backed up, and so it's just what is that thing for everyone. And I think it's also over time as well, because even your body takes time to change to change to like a vegan diet as well, and stay healthy. Yeah. So I think it's just a matter of time, and a few different things like cowspiracy is powerful. I've shown everyone at work. Yeah. And it's good because it's not overly confrontational or anything like that. It's when you get the facts. Facts are facts. I can really relate to that. I mean, I can understand why you also related to it being an engineer. You know, that's that side of the brain that really resonates strongly with you. And also that personally, facts. I love facts. There's actually a YouTube identity I follow called Mike the Vegan. Okay. And he presents. Or Mick the Vegan. What's he call himself? Mick the Vegan or Mike the Vegan? I can't remember how he presents it. He either calls himself Mick the Vegan or Mike the Vegan. MIC. MIC. His videos are very informative, lots of facts. He throws up graphs, he throws up statistics, he throws up the studies, and he must do a lot of behind the scenes research. Yep. And I love that. It's like, okay, here is the science to prove what he's saying. So he puts a lot of videos up, and he does a lot of support of them going, this is the stuff that's proving what I'm saying, So then it's like, okay, they're the facts. So I love sharing his stuff because that helps that side of my brain understand. Yeah, and I have a friend at work whose wife is vegan. Yeah. And he consequently is becoming vegan, or is vegan now, I assume. That he also, because he's an engineer, understood the cowspiracy side of things. So shout out to you, Drew. I know you're watching.
Drew, you better be watching or else.
I've had a lot of friends in South Africa that now turn to me with the vegan. Like as soon as there's some vegan share, they're like, "Oh my God, Shai, look at this!" Yeah. But also, a few of my friends have gone vegan now. And excellent. My sister went vegan because I told her what happens to carbs, and she literally said, "Yuck." And then the next day she was vegan. So she's just like,
that's
she
fantastic.
never really liked it, and now she for her she said she's always felt like the consciousness behind the food was never right. Yeah. And that she feels better without it. So
that is good.
So she's left it.
I like what she said there, the consciousness behind the food. Yes. And a big shout out to Stephen O'Brien from Flower of Life Bakery. Oh, hi. he's watching as well, and he will be back on the show again in the very near future. So he was on last year, and it's been way too long. So talking about baked goodies, there's another fantastic. I mean, isn't it amazing all the places that have opened up or are opening up?
Absolutely. And there needs to be more. There needs to be more and more people doing exactly what we're doing.
What are your thoughts? I'm just talking about vegan food businesses. What are your thoughts? There's on the coast. I don't know, maybe there is some in Brisbane I'd have to think about, but on the coast we have a few vegetarian restaurants that have opened up, and wonderful food, and they are this close to being fully vegan. Like they've just got, all they've got is milk.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's your thoughts on that? I'm like, come on guys, seriously, just make the last step there, you know, just get rid of the milk and just go to the plant-based milks, and then you're 100% vegan, and you know, there's obviously a lot of support for it. You know,
I'm definitely like suspecting it as it's for coffee.
Yeah.
And we have hundreds of customers that don't buy coffee from us because we don't offer them dairy. But whether they buy or not, we always tell our staff to take it as an opportunity to educate them why we don't use it.
Yep.
So often we actually say to our customers, well, we don't have dairy, but you should try this blend. And often we suggest like a half coconut and half almond milk blend, which is actually really good.
Yeah,
and we said, if you don't like it, then you don't have to pay. And then they drink it and they said, well, it's actually really good. And then often they say, well, we kind of based it on the fact that we had an almond milk cappuccino somewhere else and it was horrible.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like I fully support the idea of ditching the dairy and then, you know, being 100% vegan, but I'm suspecting that's why they're holding on to it, because there's like, you know, $500-600 worth of coffee that they need or want, or I don't know. Yeah. But businesses.
I mean, it's an interesting question because like just through the rapid growth of veganism, it's almost like vegetarian on the menu is almost getting outdated. Like it should be.
It feels like that to me too.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's definitely not. I don't think it's trendy, and it's fun. And I almost think it's funny to see a vegetarian restaurant open up now, and I'm thinking, you guys aren't with it. You're not, I mean, you should be opening a vegan restaurant. You know, opening a vegetarian restaurant was so 10 years ago. You know, for it to have been. For it to have been pioneering, you would have had to open a vegetarian restaurant 20 or 30 years ago. Then you'd be pioneering. You know, now it's like, oh no, people have done that. You know, seriously, get with the times.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, so.
We have a friend who has a vegetarian place. And, and when we said, why won't you go vegan? And his response is really funny. He said, so back in the day, we were the ones that were, you know, looking at meat eaters and having an attack at them. And he goes, now it's our turn. And he goes, that's karma for you, like, you know. So that's his answer. But I'm fully in support of everyone.
Nicole says dairy and coffee was the last animal product I had trouble letting go of. Yeah, it's usually it's usually that or cheese.
Yeah,
true. How did you find when you went from vegetarian to vegan? Did you miss the taste of cheese or milk or that, or did either of you have an issue with that, or was
not milk? Definitely not milk. That was easy to let go of. Cheese. There was a short period. I guess I missed. You didn't. Yeah, you didn't miss it. No. For me, there was a short period.
Personally, I find it revolting.
Yeah, there's something about it. It's like just the smell, and also
it's just awful. It's just terrible. The smell of milk is bad enough.
Yeah.
And then the smell of cheese is just another step worse. And what's worse than that, of course, is the smell of corpse cooking. You know, when you go past a Bunnings or something.
Yeah.
But credit to Bunnings. The Saturday just gone.
Yeah, the vegan sausage.
That Sugar Shine, they had their vegan sausage sizzle at Bunnings at Lismore.
Awesome,
so that's awesome. I believe, from what I'm reading, there's a few been happening down south, Melbourne way or something.
There's one as well.
I swear there was one in Brisbane as well, because I took note of that. I swear.
Yeah, I think you're right. There was one. I think that.
I know the Melbourne one.
I think it might have even been Farm Animal Rescue. I think did one at Bunnings. I think Kirk mentioned that to me. And yes, there was that one mentioned that was just recently. People complaining because there was no cruelty to their food, and I don't even want to use the word food, because a cooked corpse is not food. You know, it doesn't fit the definition of food. So, but to them it does. So now. Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Can you believe it's actually, we've only got about 5 minutes left to go. We haven't had a lot of questions now. I was expecting people to really hit you guys up for the chocolate recipe.
Ask us some questions.
Ask us if you want to ask a question about the Veganyumm recipes, or if you want Shai to give away some secrets. You
Yeah,
better get in
awesome.
quick, guys, because you only got 5 minutes. But what we're going to do at the end, after the end of the show, is I'm going to share a recipe, an exclusive recipe that Shai has gifted.
Yeah.
So that's going to be shared up in the comments at the end. So look out for that one. So where does Veganyumm go from here, or is that a secret? That's probably something we can't really. It just you might.
I don't even know.
Yeah, I was going to say. I thought that. Yeah, you just go where the universe takes you.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
I think I could perhaps add to that in the brief time that we have. I took a few notes. I mentioned that earlier.
Oh yes,
which
that's
could
right.
kind of lead to what we, not just what we want for
Yes.
vegan, but what we love for veganism in general.
Yes.
So I had some thoughts a few days ago. I made a little PowerPoint for myself.
Oh, very nice. I tell you what, you're good. You're good.
It's called The Small Vegan Business.
Yeah.
And it kind of highlights the impact of just what one small vegan business can do.
Okay.
And
yeah.
So the small business profile,
Mm-hmm.
the ATO, that kind of defines roughly what a small business is.
Yeah.
It's something with a yearly turnover of around under $2 million. So if you just use that figure, put $2 million in perspective, what that is equivalent to. $2 million is equivalent to 2 million litres of milk. Yeah, and which is around 530 cows per year, if you were to put that into perspective. I've gone through to a few other things, just throwing what that figure is equivalent to.
530 cows production of milk, is that right?
Correct.
Yes.
Per year.
Okay. To produce that 2 million litres.
Correct.
Okay.
Per year. It's also $2 million is 150,000 litres of non-vegan shampoos, for example. I'm using round figures here as well. Yeah. 75 tons of steak is what $2 million equates to, which is 165,000 cows. Whoa, it's a lot. 5.6 million eggs is what $2 million is equivalent to. Final one. 100 tons of chicken breasts, which is 343,000.
Even saying chicken breast, isn't that terrible?
So that $2 million is obviously it's not all that item. It's spread across a variety of industries and things like that. But that's an indication of putting into some perspective what that figure does. That change. That's because of the small business owner, the staff that work for them. All the supporters, all the customers contribute to that by supporting a small vegan business. Now imagine the effect of a medium to large vegan business, and that is sort of a hint of perhaps where we'd like to go. And what? Okay, final.
No, it's all right. We can go a little bit over time. It's all right.
Okay, this is fine. This is very quick, actually.
It's fine.
What does that? If you notice that $2 million could have gone elsewhere to non-vegan businesses, for example. So that results in a shortfall to all these non-vegan businesses. And so what does that mean? Well, that revenue is clean money. It's not dirty money. Because it comes to a vegan business which invests in itself, so it stays within itself. It pays its staff, which is vegan. They in turn buy things which are clean, and it's a cycle there. Which promotes itself to grow as well. So it's clean money.
I like it.
Which is,
I like it.
I mentioned it pays the vegan staff. It rewards vegans for being vegan. Grows a vegan business, the vegan and vegan friendly industries as well. That shortfall causes a shortfall in the meat, dairy and animal testing industries. Which shows up. It shows up in their books. So the world kind of knows that there's a shift in demand for vegan and vegan-friendly products. That increased demand results in reducing the cost of vegan items, of purely vegan items, because sometimes they can be expensive. But that in turn makes vegan products at competitive prices.
That's where
eventually.
large business fits in as well.
Yeah.
From shifting from small business to a large business, like, buying capacity increases,
Yes.
and, the cost of goods, you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. So
Yeah.
that's where you can afford to make everything as cheap as what non-vegan items
Yeah.
are. So
Yeah.
that's what we want.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's so important for vegan businesses to demonstrate healthy growth and healthy profit in order to grow, in order for example, for investors to take notice and for the industry to take notice.
Yes.
So it has to be done properly. We need more vegan businesses, but we need to make sure that everyone's, all the vegan businesses are doing it properly, not pricing themselves out of the market, and but also pricing themselves just right to demonstrate that healthy growth profit. And then if that continues, that's the direction that Veganyumm wants to go. We want to become that next tier of business. Let's say the medium business, medium sized company, something like that around Australia, giving people that option. So that dessert option, you no longer will you feel the urge to have a dessert and find that there's nowhere to go. There's going to be Veganyumms.
That's why we have to do it better. Like our vegan businesses, we have to do it better. We have to, give it 100% because we're representing veganism. We're representing.
Look, there's a really interesting fact. What is it? How many businesses fail in the first 5 years?
In the first 5 years, it's very, very high. It's 80-90%.
And then
of
the
those
20,
the remaining, say the 20%, again
like
in the next 5 years.
There's a 5% that survive.
Yes.
So you have to do it right.
So folks, you heard it first on the Vegan Hour, the direction that Veganyumm wants to head in. I'll be able to say, it's that and that. I'll be able to say that, or you'll be able to say as well, that you knew these guys before they were rich and famous.
No.
so
Get rich, donate all our money to good cause.
Yeah, that sounds like
look, whatever Veganyumm makes goes directly back into self to grow, because we need to do it fast. Like we want to be in.
You want to do it fast, but you're also patient. No, there is. I can understand it. You can be patient and be efficient. If that's rather than fast, maybe that's the word.
Actually, the two of us live a very simple lifestyle.
That's good.
We don't have
High
too many
thinking and
things.
simple living.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have too many things, and we don't buy much. We don't, we obviously enjoy good food. That's a huge aspect of our life.
We cook for ourselves.
We cook a lot of awesome food. And when we do go out, we support other vegan businesses, which is pretty awesome. We've tried a lot. We haven't tried all because we haven't been so free, but today we got to try out a couple of places as well.
That's fantastic.
And whatever, if we do make it big one day, I have a lot of projects I'd love to donate to.
Well, I tell you what, I think your philosophy, your personal philosophy and the Veganyumm philosophy is very inspiring. I've been very inspired having you here as guest tonight, listening to the journey, your own journey and the Veganyumm journey, and I'm sure people watching would agree as well. So it's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for coming all the way down. And it's been fantastic. So
it's really humbling to talk about it all. So thank you.
It's just beautiful to listen to. I wish there were more people in the world that understood the right way to do things the way you guys do. You just come from the right foundation. I love it. So I'm learning from you, which is wonderful. I feel inspired after talking to you guys. So I've been talking to Shai and Jai from Veganyumm, and this has been, what is this? This has been episode 19, Tuesday, May the 23rd. Now this episode will be on YouTube probably within 2 days' time. So I'll share it onto Facebook, and you'll be able to watch it on my YouTube channel. And in the meantime, this live stream, if you've got any questions that you haven't asked, you can still ask it later, and it will still come up in the notifications, and myself or you guys will see it and you can answer it because you'll be tagged in it. So next week on episode 20, I am talking to animal rights activist Brian Hall. Brian Hall with the biggest heart of anyone I know. And he's everywhere lately. He's just everywhere there's an animal rights event, he's there. So Brian will be joining me next week. So I'm looking forward to that one. Thank you for everyone that watched tonight. And thank you for your comments, guys. And now you know where Veganyumm is. You can click on the link in the comments to find them if you haven't been there, and they're open 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every night of the week except Sunday nights when they're open at 9 p.m. So have a great week, guys. Remember to live vegan and save lives. And thanks once again for being on the show, guys.
Thank you.
And I'll see you next week. Good night.